Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lauren Carden and this is Carden's Gardens. I just wanted to jump on here to film a little updated plant tour since the last time you guys have seen my place. It is now spring and we have been in quarantine here in Los Angeles for about 40 days. Today is day 37 for me personally, and I know I'm getting a little stir crazy. But on the good side, my plants have been getting a lot of extra attention lately, and they're really just thriving right now with this little bit of extra sunlight that we're getting, longer days. And I have a lot of new baby leaves and new baby growth, which always makes me happy. It really brightens my day, and I thought I should just jump on here and share this with you guys. I know everyone really liked the last apartment plant tour that I did. So I just wanted to get on, share a little bit of happiness, a little bit of springtime. I hope that everyone out there is staying well and staying safe and not going too crazy. I know that it's tough being in isolation, especially if you live in a small place or alone like me. So if you're one of those people, feel free to reach out to me in the comments. I'm always connecting with people online and I love to make new friends. So if you're lonely or if you enjoy this tour, just make sure you reach out in the comments below. And if you do like my channel, please also subscribe because I would love to have you as a follower as well as engage in the community. So without further ado, let's get started. And I'll start out here in my living room. Again, not a lot of space. My apartment's like less than 500 square feet, but you can see that I have a south-facing window. I'm pretty lucky to have good light in my space. So I'll just start right here with the plants that I have hanging in the window. Right here in this smaller pot, I have my elephant bush. I believe it might be a type of jade, but I'm not 100% sure. I just rotated it, but you can see it's really starting to trail down now with this extra sunlight, longer days. It's got a lot of baby growth there, you can see. I just really love and I'm proud of this guy. I haven't really had tons of success with succulents in the house, so really happy to see this one has found a great home in this south-facing window. And right here next to my elephant bush, I still have my philodendron Brazil, but you can see that it's really gotten a lot fuller since the last time I filmed it. I just recently rotated it, so you're seeing the side that has been in the sun all of this time, but it's really taken off. It's growing down, it's growing up. I just really love this plant. And hanging from the philodendron Brazil, I have my golden pothos. This guy is also just really taken off. It is getting long. And that's one of the things I really love about pothos is that they can just trail. You can see almost every vine has a new leaf coming off of it. So I love this spot. It's really starting to feel like a jungle over here, and I would just love to fill up this whole window with plants. And over here next to the window and my hanging plants, I still have my propagation shelf. Not much has changed. I guess the decor kind of has, but it's still just small plants, cuttings, air plants, and that kind of stuff. I have 2 new propagations. Actually, this Wandering Jew propagation is not new. It wasn't doing well in the last vessel I had it in, so I cut it and put it back in. But you can see here, it's got a little bit of new growth and the leaves are doing okay. What I really love about this plant is how pretty the leaves are. They get this purple, silver sheen to them and they just really are beautiful. So I'm hoping that we can get some root action going here. And I also have just a small cutting of this Pearls and Jade Pothos. I just took this, I guess, last week. So no real root action yet, but I know it will do just fine. Pothos are super easy to propagate in water. And here I have this little shot glass that my friend got me in Italy. And I put a air plant in there just because I think it looks so cute with the lemons and the greenery, and I just put some rocks in the shot glass to keep the air plant propped up. And I also have a few more air plants up here on this first shelf. Air plants typically like a more humid environment. Unfortunately, it's pretty dry here in LA. So I just dunk these guys in water about once a week and they do fine. Here on the second shelf, I have another Pearls and Jade Pothos. This one was my previous water propagation and I put it in some dirt. I think it looks really pretty in this little brass planter thing that I found at the Goodwill. And now that it's spring, it also has put off a new leaf. You can see that small guy there, some really pretty variegation. It just popped out probably 2 weeks ago. So this big leaf here was the previous new leaf and it's gotten really big. So I can't wait to see how big that one gets. And then here is the bottom shelf. I just restyled this as well. It has this little candle here. I wouldn't really recommend burning this candle on the shelf, but it looks really cute and I can always take it down to burn it. And I have this little Sansevieria cutting, which has been in this mason jar for a really long time, but I just like the way that it looks. And it has a ton of new growth down in there, you can see. So I've let it just hang out in here. It has roots, it's putting off new babies in the center. So I'm gonna leave it there. I really like how it looks. And then lastly, on my plant shelf, I have my philodendron neon. I guess it's called a neon philodendron. But you can see that it's really growing now that it's spring. All of this new neon growth up here at the top is all new. And it's got buds coming off there in the back. You can see in the front, right here on the left side. And some of the older leaves are turning a bit darker, but it's really pretty. I love this plant. And you can see here, this leaf with the variegation is just, that's one of my favorite leaves of all time. Just so unique. It just stands out and shines. So I have it kind of turned towards the front to highlight it. I really love that. All right, and so this is, again, the overall view of the area next to my couch with my little hanging jungle and propagation station. And here on the other side of my ottoman, I have my little plant stand as well as my crystals. Here I have my 2 rubber trees. This one is the variegated variety and it has gotten so tall here. You can see it's ready to put off new leaves. It has been putting off new leaves. So I know that we're gonna get a lot of growth out of this guy this spring and it's just really gonna get huge. And it's even got a little baby coming off, which has these little baby watercolor camo leaves. Such a cutie. Right here next to my variegated rubber tree, I have a burgundy rubber tree. It's got these nice deep leaves that I believe these can take a little bit less light since they do have the darker leaves, but I just keep it here in the window and it seems to have done just fine. It doesn't quite grow as fast as the variegated one that I have, but you can see that it's got these little buds where new leaves will eventually come out. And down here next to the table, I just have my 2 Sansevieria, also known as snake plants. I really like how these look down here. Here's my whale fin that you guys saw in my previous plant tour. But there's the baby leaf that was coming off last time. It was really tiny at the time and it's just really growing. It's almost as big as its mother. So I'm gonna leave it in there. I really like how it looks. And then here's just a snake plant that doesn't have a ton of action, but I don't give it that much action either. But I really like how it looks. Here, though, I have a little shelf that has some crystals, an extra planter that I really like, I haven't used yet, and then I have this resurrection plant. I got this at the Juicy Leaf in LA, but if you haven't seen these plants before, they're kind of like a tumbleweed that basically they'll just stay like that until you water it. And when you water it, it will open up into this really cool, just green lily pad of a plant. For lack of better words, I don't know what to call it other than a resurrection plant, but it's really cool. Maybe I'll do a time-lapse video of it sometime, but you should definitely pick one of these up if you ever see them. And then just finishing off here in the living room, this is how I redecorated the shelf above my TV. Since I am in the house so much more, I really did want to bring a little extra life into my house. So I brought this sunshine mirror out from my bedroom and just thought that it would be the perfect addition for spring and life in quarantine. Here on the left side of the shelf, I have my asparagus fern. I brought it out of the bathroom. I think it was getting a little too much humidity in there because it was losing a lot of leaves. So in this new location, it's stopped losing leaves. It hasn't really grown much, but I think that it's a good sign that it's stopped dying. And over here, I just have a little plant that I got at Ross. It's a fake plant, but I love her. And here I moved my arrowhead plant closer to the window, and it's already turning and facing towards the sun. So I can tell that it's really happy in this new spot. I really love this guy. It's got some really pretty leaves, and I can tell that it's just really happy. It's even putting off a little bit of new growth there in the back. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see a tiny little bud where a new leaf is starting to grow. So really good sign that this guy is happy at its new home. And right over here behind the TV, I have still pretty much the same setup. My kalanchoe are in the corner here, but update, it's showing new growth for the first time in a really long time. So I can tell that this new location, the extra water and attention that I told you guys I was gonna give it, it's really actually loving it. And then I have a little baby kalanchoe here that I just put the pot on top, and it is really thriving in this new, a little bit more shaded and a little bit more watered location. And here, I think this guy is new. I don't know if he was in the window before, but it's not a new plant to my collection, just new to this space, my Sansevieria samurai. And you can see there that in the center, it is starting to grow that new leaf, which was there when I got it, but I can tell that it's gotten bigger, thicker. So the little extra sunlight and water for him is doing it well as well. And then here next to it is my starfish Sansevieria, still growing that little baby, and the leaves are starting to get thicker on it now with a little extra sunshine and water. I'm gonna have to repot it here soon, but it's really liking the extra sunlight like we thought in the last video. And then of course you all know my Monstera, but did you know that this plant is actually what inspired my baby leaves video? This plant has been putting off so many leaves that I just have been so in awe of it. This one here, this big one, is actually its newest completely unfurled leaf. Look how big that guy is. It's amazing. And then today or yesterday, this little guy just completely unturned. No splits there, but it's okay. It's got some smaller growth too. But you can see here, we've actually got two leaves with splits that are coming out. This one for sure has splits. You can kind of see there already. Just gonna let it do its thing. And then this one down here, I can't 100% tell if it's gonna have some splits in it. Seems to be pretty solid, but then there's some little bit of action at the tip there that makes me think that maybe it's got a split hiding. And then you can also see right down here in the baby growth section, there's another leaf that's uncurling right now as we speak. So it's really taking off down here in the lower levels too. You can actually see that there's 1, 2 more leaves that are ready to pop up down here towards the bottom. So again, really happy to see all of the new growth from this guy, and I am just sure that it is going to get huge this spring, and I'm really excited to see how big it can actually get. And here you guys will see my new home office. This is where I've been working from home for the past 37 days, but I still have my ponytail palm here at my desk. They're just kind of in my laptop space. We're making the most of it. We have to share our homes right now. So you can just see though that this girl is as sassy as ever with her hair running wild. She's embracing the full quarantine and really loving this sun. Here behind her, I have moved my pilea, not sure how to pronounce this guy, but I've moved it over here to the west facing window. I've tried it in a few homes in my house and it just really was losing leaves. They were dropping. It wasn't putting off a ton of new growth. So as you can see here in the west facing window, it's really starting to fill out. It's got a little baby taken off from the bottom there with little baby leaves, super cute. And then up here towards the top, you can just see all of the new growth, all of the new leaves. This one's uncurling, it's putting off a new one in the center, and all of these smaller leaves are new. So really happy with the brighter sunlight. I would say if you have a pilea and it's not doing as well as you would like, give it a little bit more sun. And right here, I still have my string of pearls. I refuse to move her because she is just still thriving. Like I said in my last video, I have never had luck with a string of pearls like I have with this one in this spot, in this planter. It is just loving and living its best life right here. The pearls are nice and thick, and it is just growing all the time. And hanging right up here next to the table where I used to have my succulent tray, I've moved my Scindapsus pictus, also known as the satin pothos. To be honest, I just really wanted to be surrounded. Oh Lord, did you guys just hear that? I hope everybody's okay. You guys, don't speed. Just because the streets are free right now and you can drive 80 miles an hour doesn't mean you need to. Sorry, PSA. Resuming the plant tour. I really wanted to be surrounded by more plants while I was working, so I brought this guy up here. And it's really actually seeming to like the extra sunlight. It's putting off some new babies. I'm not sure if it's just putting off new babies because it's spring, but you can see one coming out right there. You can see one coming out. Let me see if I can get in on it. I don't know if you can see it. Right under there, there's a new leaf that's about to come out. But this guy's doing pretty well. I'm really happy to have him next to my workspace. Actually, it's a her. But overall, it's really thriving in its new home with brighter sunlight, and I'll keep you guys posted on how it does. And then right up here on the other side of the window, I have my pearls and jade pothos and I have my golden pothos. I love both of these plants and I love how it looks in this corner. They're both trailing down and it really just gives me a jungle feel while I'm here working from home every day. So you can see here is where I took the cutting for the one that's on my propagation station, and you can already see I've only taken the cutting about a week ago and it's already starting to grow a new vine. Pothos or pothos, however you want to call them, they are so easy to grow. They just need light, love, and water, and they will just be happy as a clam. This one is just really sprawling out and I love how well it's doing. I had a tough time with this pearls and jade at first, but then I realized that they need more light. They have all this variegation on their leaves and all of that white doesn't have chlorophyll. So the green parts have to work extra hard to feed the plant. So make sure you give this plant some extra attention and keep it well lit and well watered. And up here is my golden pothos that I've had for oh so long. It's been in every one of my videos, I think, and I just love this plant. I actually added another small plant to the back of it, another pothos that I had knocked over, and I thought, you know what, let me just add it here. And it's reaching around towards the sun. It really makes this plant feel full and beautiful, and I just I know I say that I love them all every single time, but I really do. This plant has given a lot of its energy down to this one vine, which I'm okay with because I really love how long the vine is getting, and it's still putting off new baby leaves all the way down here. Love it. These leaves are just popping out faster and faster. This one's a new leaf, as well as you can see it's already about to pop out a new one. It's just growing so fast now with this extra sunlight that we have now that spring's here. And both of these guys are just trailing and really looking beautiful, if I might say so myself. And then of course I still have my little air plant terrariums hanging here from the Pothos. Not much has changed with those guys, but they're still hanging in there. And over here next to my stove actually probably looks quite different from the last time you've seen it. I still have my ZZ plant up there in the back, top back, but I've added another ZZ plant just because that one in the back has done so well. I thought, why not add another one? And then you can see here my poor, beautiful, sweet, loving aloe. I took it outside to get a little bit of extra sunlight for spring, and it got severely sunburned. All of the leaves turned brown. They started like drooping. This one is kind of drooping, but it's hanging on, so I haven't cut it off yet. But you can see this leaf is a little brown, and I just had to cut off so much. It was doing so well, so I'm really hoping for it to come back. Now that I've cut some things off, this leaf is coming in here, so I expect for it to come back. Aloes are pretty hardy, but I'm just really devastated with the state of this guy. It was doing so well, so be careful. You can sunburn your aloe. I didn't really realize that, but trial and error says yes. And then here's just the other side of my stove, which you guys have seen before, but it's probably looking a little different as well. I still have my arrowhead over here, and it is still literally putting off dozens of new leaves all the time. I don't think this plant has ever stopped putting off new growth. You can see just almost everywhere you look at this plant, it's got some sort of new growth sprouting out, uncurling, and it really just amazes me how much this plant likes this space. And right here next to my arrowhead plant is my gold dust Dracaena. Not a ton of new action, but it's got two little new leaves there. You can see they're a little bit lighter than the rest. A little bit less of the dust on the leaves, which I think if it had more light, it would have more of the white speckles. But so far I'm happy with this plant. It's been a rough ride with it. I thought I was going to kill it at one point. So since it's just staying alive and it's putting off new leaves, I'm really happy. And you can probably see here behind the gold dust Dracaena, hiding in the background, are the roots of a very crowded Monstera cutting. You guys, I'm a bad plant mother. I said back in February I was going to repot this plant and I haven't. But look at how cute this little new leaf is. Literally one of my favorite leaves of all time, except for the other ones that are also my favorite leaves of all time. And then lastly here on this tray, I've moved my Chinese evergreen. It doesn't need as much light as the rest, so I thought here kind of pulled back from the window would be a good place for it. And you can see it's sprouting off a new leaf. This one is a new leaf since my last video. And this one is a new leaf since being in its new home. And I know you guys had given me some tips on definitely letting this dry out. I realized, I thought when I first got it that it was in a planter without a hole, but I realized that it was just in a nursery pot in this planter. So I've been able to let it dry out. I feel a little more confident about this guy over here. So I'm really happy. Thank you for the tips, everyone. And this is what I have done with my space. Up here on top of the fridge, I'm just gonna breeze through quickly. I still have my ZZ plant that was there in my previous plant tour, as well as I've moved my alocasia up there too. I just really like the way that it looks. I noticed the alocasia was getting a little bit too much water down there by the sink, because I watered them so often. So I moved it up there to kind of prevent me from overwatering this plant. Over here on the other side of my kitchen, I still just have my snake plant chilling down here in the corner next to my toaster oven and my little coffee station. It doesn't do much over here, it doesn't have a lot of action or growth, but I really don't mind it. I think that it just kind of fills the space nicely and adds a little life to this corner. And I want to show you guys what I did with my succulents that were inside my apartment on the windowsill in my last tour. Now that it's springtime, I wanted to bring them outside to get a little extra sun and fresh air. And you can see that they're doing really well. My little cactus there is putting off new cacti, so cute. This echeveria got a little bit of sunburn, so I brought him down here to the bottom shelf, but it's starting to do really well. It's putting on a lot of new growth there in the center. And then you can see here my lithopes are putting off babies in the center, as well as my living stone, I think that's called. I forget the name of it now. But there's the other lithopes. My haworthia has really opened up and done really well outside, so I'm really happy to see that growing and going well. And this guy's doing just okay. It's gotten a little bit of rain here lately, so maybe a little waterlogged, but I would say overall everybody's doing really well outside. And then there is my little cactus magnet hanging on, super cute. And up here you can see, I think this is my angel wings cactus, is putting off a lot of new babies up on the top. Well guys, there you have it. Thanks for watching my apartment/plant tour. And if you like this video and want to see more like them, please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time at Carden's Gardens.